Welcome to the Nativot Shalom Shir. We're going to talk about the very important concept in this week's Parsha. Actually, there's two Parsha, Matot and Masai. We're going to talk about something from the Parsha of Matot, the first of the two. And it's a subject that is so important right now in our lives. And that is the realization that our words, our mouths, can be a place of kedusha, of holiness, and to keep them there. We live in a time where we need to be so careful of what we say and how we use our mouths. And I'm giving this year, just within the last half hour, Israel has attacked an installation in Beirut, where hopefully some of our major enemies were hanging out. And I ask Hashem to give us the ability to defeat our enemies. And hopefully we'll be able to get through this year without being interrupted by sirens or by electrical cutoffs. So we will try it. Anyway, the Parsha says, and we have in the Nativot Shalom, up on the page here, Lo Yachel Devoro. You shouldn't profane your words. And the Pasuk says, Ish, starting with the Nativot Shalom, Ish ki yidor neder el Hashem, a person who makes a vow to God, O Ishav al Shavua, or takes an oath, Eser al Nafsho, to forbid something to himself, Lo Yachel Devoro. He shouldn't skip over his words. He should not fail to do what he says. He should do everything that comes out of his mouth. But Rashi says, Lo yachal devoro, what does that mean? Kamo lo yachalel devoro. Don't make your words profane. Lo yaseh devorav cholin. Don't make your words just like everyday words. Umakshim bazeh. Al amram b'lashon lo yachal devoro. And the sages ask about the language where it says, hi, Yana, welcome. Where the sages ask, where it says, Lo yachal devorav, you shouldn't profane your words. Sheyitzorech lomer, lo yavar al devoro. It should have just said, don't fail to do what you said you're going to do. Why does it use this kind of language, saying that you shouldn't make your words profane? You also have to understand, if it's already told us to not to do what we said we're going to do and not fail to do it, why does it have to repeat it and say do whatever everything that comes out of your mouth you should do? It sounds like extra. We know there are no extra words in the Torah. That's an inyan neder, tzorach bir. We have to understand the whole aspect of a vow. What is that about? Mishtana mahus hadavar, ayediva ba'alma. Through a vow, you're able to change the reality of something just by your speech alone. For example, shayidei she'omer al davar shachulin shia korban. If you have something that is used for regular work, for instance, during the days when they had sacrifices in the Beit Hamikdash, you have a cow that was just a regular cow, and now all of a sudden you're saying this cow should be for a korban. Just you're saying it changes the category of that cow. Category of that cow from chulin, from profane, to something that is holy. Oh, Isser Mishtana Hadavar Mitziyaso. Or if you say that this particular object just with your words, say this object, you point to this object, you say that should be forbidden to me, like something holy. That's forbidden to you. Your words alone do that. And just your words bring it to a new level, create a new entity, a new reality of something that is holy. And we have to explain this according to what Rabbi Yonah says. He says, Ki Yehudi Makadesh es piv, a Jew who sanctifies his mouth, who makes his mouth holy, nasa piv kekli shores, makes his mouth like a vessel that was used in the holy temple in the Beit Hamikdash to serve God, a kli shores, a service vessel to God. Kishem shekli shores bekadesh es hamincha, hamenucha betocha, just like the serving vessel in which you put the meal offering, the korban mincha, when you put it in there, the vessel becomes holy. And just by your words, that vessel becomes holy. Similarly, with the words that come out of a Jew's mouth, you create new aspects of holiness. Excuse me. We should have to understand why is the mouth chosen among all of the other parts of the body to serve as a vessel of service to God, like a klishoris? Yesh lo api mamar akasav, as it says in Yeshayahu, imzu yotzarti li techilasi yisaperu. Amzu yotzarti li. I have created this people, and they will sing my praises. Talking about the children of Israel. Kol Torah b'brias Yisrael. The whole purpose of creating the children of Israel, he leman tehilasi yisaperu, in order to say praise to God. Shomri lefonav yisborach tehilos v'sishbachos, to say praise and words of words of praise to God. V'kibun shezo tachlis habriya, since this is the purpose of creation, al kein hapeh ukli shoresh, therefore the mouth, which is the kli shoresh, the serving vessel, shemiyuchad letzorech gavoah, its purpose, its unique purpose is for a higher purpose. Vayar Balak ben Sipur as Kol Asher Asli Yisrael Emori. So Balak, King Balak, saw all that the children of Israel did to the Amorites. Perush Balak Ra Sheis Kol Asher Asa. Balak saw all that they did. Kol Asher Asa Kadosh Baruch, meaning all that God did. Who Bishvil Yisrael Emori, on behalf of the children of Israel for the Amorites. Shehudi Yomer Lefonav Yisborach Devar Kodesh. A Jew said before God words of holiness. V'zeh tachlis shetilas yisaperu, and that's the whole purpose of my. I will sing your praises. Umatzinu the ikar avodas Hashem. We see that the most important way of serving God, miskayemes ayadibur, comes about through speech. For example, limud Torah, studying Torah. Shehudi mechuyev la'asok ba tamid. A Jew has to constantly be involved in the study of Torah. As it says, "V'gisa bo yom v'layla." I will concentrate on this day and night. V'chein tefillah, our prayer to God, our prayers that we say, it's through our mouth, through speech. V'zachar es Yom HaShabbos l'kadsho. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Zichro b'devarim. Speak with, remember it with words. Ikra mitzvah b'doraisa hu ayidei dibur. The most important part, the fundamental aspect of the commandments of the Torah are fulfilled through speech. Remember all that Amalek did. Doesn't mean just remember it in your head. It means hamitzvah hibapeh. The mitzvah is by saying it with your mouth. Ikra avodas Hashem hu ayidei hapeh. The most important part of serving God is through your mouth. Tama apehu kli shoresh. And for that reason, your mouth is a kli shoresh, a serving vessel, as it was in the Beit Hamikdash. Shinyan kli shoresh hu shemiyuma la'asot bo avodas Hashem. It's created always to do the service of God. L'kach hapesh ayado miskayemes ikra avodas Hashem ariel kli shoresh hamiyuma la'avodas yisborach. Therefore, the mouth, whose purpose is the service of God, it's a kli shoresh, a service vessel. Which you cannot say about the other parts of your body. They're not unique in their service to God. Your speech is, everything you do is with speech. And because of this, you and the Isa b'Tosef, Tosefta in the Dorim. We can understand what it says in the Tosefta in the Dorim. Al pasuk lo yachal devorah. And the same thing we're talking about now. You shouldn't make your words profane. Shafil the Dorim and even vows that are permissible. Kagon shenadar al davar ein bo mamash. You're taking an oath on something that really doesn't exist. Oh, shenadar matafis b'davar ha'asr. Or you take a vow not to use something that's already forbidden to you. Those kinds of vows have no effect. Once it's forbidden to you, you're making an eder. It's just a waste of words. How do we know that a person should not make such a vow, even if it's going to be nullified? Because the netter doesn't work, right? But Talmud Lomer, nonetheless, the Torah tells us, Lo yachal devoro, don't profane your words. Shelo yaseh devorim chulim, don't make your words like they're profane. Shechura tzorech bir, madua isra lo lomer dibur kazeh, me'achar she'enu tovas klal. Why does this prohibition apply to something that really would have no effect at all? And the Holy Arizal says, Al pasuk lo yachal devoro, on the same sentence we're talking about, Kachal hayotze mipiv yaseh. It says, everything that comes out of your mouth you shall do. Meaning, shemikal dibur shehudi motzi mipiv nivra malach. What does it mean? Yaseh will create. It means that every word that comes out of your mouth, you create an angel. Im midaber devorim tovim, nia mizeh sanegar. If you're speaking good things, you will create an angel who defends you. Im midaber devorim asurim, and if you're speaking prohibited things, nia kategar, you're going to make an angel that is a prosecuting angel against you. That's what the Arizal said. Amar, and because of this, it says, Lo yachal devorav. She'ein la'adam lasos devorav chuli mishum shebechol yotz mipiv yaseh malach. You shouldn't make your words profane, because everything that comes out of your mouth creates an angel, and you want to create good angels, not bad ones. You want to create angels that are going to defend you. We have to understand this. Why are there such stringency about speech? Shema Yehudi motzi mipiv mecholel totzat gedolas kol kach. Because what comes out of a Jew's mouth has the ability to accomplish great things. Even though it's only words. Chazal, And this is what our sages have said in Gemara Yoma. Rava Omer Kal Hasach Sichos Cholin over Basei. Whoever wastes their words and speaks profane words has violated a negative commandment. Shinemar, it says, V'dibarta bam. It says in the Shema, you shall speak of them. What is of them? Of them, meaning Torah. Below b'dvorim b'teilim, not for just silly things. Rabbi Bar Yaakov Omar over below sasu. He says, you violate a negative commandment. Over alzeh. He says, why? Why is this? Why should this be a violation of a negative commandment? You're speaking things that, okay, they're not necessary, but what's so bad about it? Achein, he says, Or Hadivorim Misbarako, he explains it all. Abraham Yuchad Shel Yehudi, the unique part of a person's body, of a Jew's body, Shu Kli Shores, which is a service vessel to God, Hu HaPeh, is the mouth. Sha'al Yodom is Kayemim, Rov Gufei Torah, through the mouth, you're able to establish the whole body of Torah. But tefillah, prayer, and mitzvahs, and the commandments, and to study on them day and night. Mishum kach, because of this, asher lishtamish bo lak lo rak b'dvorim asurim. Therefore, it's forbidden to use your mouth not only for speaking of things that are bad. For example, to speak lashon hara about somebody, to speak other things that might hurt somebody, to defraud somebody with your words. Not only that, but just general things that have nothing to do with anything, just words. Adas klishores, you have to remember that your mouth is a service vessel to Hashem. You're not allowed to use them for weekday words, so to speak. Chulin is also weekday, the opposite of Kadosh, of Shabbos, even though there's not a specific prohibition. And the law is that if you take anything that belongs to Hekdesh, that belongs to the Beit Hamikdash, to the Kalim of the Beit Hamikdash, and so on, or if you make any personal use of it, you're committing what is called me'ilah. You're stealing from God. And the same thing, if you're using your mouth the wrong way, you are stealing from the holy purpose of your mouth. Similarly, everything that comes out of your mouth you should do. You should call dibur shehudi medaber niyah mizeh malach. Because remember, as he said, as Uriah said, every word that comes out creates an angel. The Holy Zohar says, Divrei Torah, Divrei Torah, B'tfilah, Shehudi Omer Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But from the words of Torah and Tefillah, prayer that a Jew says before God, Nato Kadosh Baruch Hu Ilim Milim V'nei Bahon Almin. God takes and creates new worlds from these words of Torah and Tefillah. Bodhisa b'Hakdamat HaZohar, in the beginning of the Zohar, it says, Shemafarish HaPasuk, because it says in Yeshayahu, Hashemayim HaChadashim, the heavens will be renewed, V'aretz Chadasha, the earth will be renewed, Asherani Osa, that I am doing, Omdim Lefanai, that they are standing before me. Shekoi, Amash Yehudi Mechadesh Chidushi D'Oraisa. This talks about a Jew being able to renew, to come up with new words of the Torah. Asher Asisi Lo Kasav. God didn't say in the pasuk, worlds that I created. Ella Asher Ani Osmet, that I will make, I will make. The Avid Tadir Me'ina Chadoshim Razin the Raisa Shemaim Chadashim Eretz Chadashim. From your words, the secret is that new worlds will be created. V'hainu shebekol hadiburei kodesh, v'chidushi d'oraisa, all these words of holiness and the insights of the Torah, shehudi medaber nivroim olamas chadashim, all of your words create new worlds. Shemayim chadashim, eretz chadasha, heavens that are new and earths that is new. V'havim, as I understand this, Kamar shapiv shal Yehudi hu b'chinas Beit Hamikdash. Your mouth is in the same status of the holy temple of the Beit Hamikdash, uchli sharesh, like a service vessel in the Beit Hamikdash. Al kein kash Yehudi mechadish kedushi d'oraisa l'shem Hashem nivra mizeh bria chadasha. When a Jew gives new words of Torah, you're creating a new creation. So then why does the Torah specifically tell us, don't fail to do what you say, don't make your words profane? The Torah is teaching us, aside from the laws of a neder, making a vow, that you can create an object that was previously permitted to you and make it now prohibited to you. Yesh od hazara, there's another warning. Lo yachal devarov, don't profane your words. Shlo yasa devarov cholin, don't make your words meaningless. Kivan shapiv sheyehudi hu kli shores, amiyuad la'avod bo l'shem yisborach. You have to remember always your mouth is a service vessel, kli shores, used to serve God. Therefore, you can't use your mouth to speak profane things. Just like a service festival. You can't put things that are not kedusha, that are not holy, into this service festival, vessel. Chazal say al pasuk, Magi li'adam ma sheyichyu, masicho, I'm sorry. You tell a person what his speech is. I feel sicha yetera. Any extra words, magidim lo adam yom adin, will be accounted for on the judgment day. Sheperish yiserahu she'enu muchrach ledaber sicha zeh. In other words, they will see, are you saying things that were not necessary to say? In other words, we have to think before we use our mouth and not waste our words. On this aspect of not profaning your words, there's level after level, one higher than the other. First of all, specifically not to speak things that are prohibited and that are just idle chatter. There's also speaking words that are permitted. And we have this interesting story in the Gemara Psachim that teaches us the importance of using, we have a choice of using language that is a clean language versus unclean. Use the clean language. And here's the story. Trei Talmidi, two students were sitting before Hillel. One was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and so on. Chad Omar, one said, why, when you are harvesting the grapes and you're putting them in a vessel, why do you have to put them in a holy vessel, a vessel that's tahar, that's pure, that's clean, spiritually clean? And I'm sorry, but when you're making olives, you're crushing up the olive, you don't have to do that in something that's pure. Notice how he said he used the word tahar both ways. He said, on the one, why do you use it in something that's tahar? And the other, he says, why do you use it in something that is not tahar? But Chadom, and the other one said, if name but tahara, why, when you're doing the grapes, do you do it in a vessel that's tahar, Umoskim batuma. But when you're doing olives, you can do it in a vessel that's impure. Omar. So Hillel said, Muftach ani bazeh. From your words, I am absolutely certain. Shia Mora Horab Yisrael, that the person who used the word Tahara, used the clean language, both places will become a great teacher for Bnei Yisrael. And that, of course, happened with Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Even though there's nothing, he hasn't committed any wrong by saying that you're able to work the olives in a vessel that's not clean, that's tumah. Because the concern with tumah, what causes something to be tumah, what causes a fruit to be tumah, is the moisture. So grapes have a lot of moisture, and the olive, when it's just being made, there's not enough. The oil from it is not enough to convey tumah. So, but there's nothing wrong with saying it. You didn't violate a negative commandment. Akivan shura shu nizer. But since Hillel saw that he was careful, kol kach b'diboro, this way with his words, shiyah noki v'tahor, that it would be his words should be clean and pure. This was a sign he would reach a high level. And he would become a great teacher in Israel, and that in fact happened. Even higher than this. One number of Gemara Gittin, it says, "B'inyan chatima edim shebishtar." You know, when a contract is written, you have to have witnesses sign on the contract. So shechos mean ish ploni ben ploni eid. So the custom was, my name is Ploni, the son of Ploni, eid, and I'm a witness, adding the word witness to it after your name. The Isa Sham Sha'af im lo kasav aid kosher. And the halacha is, even if you don't write the word aid, witness, after their name, it's still a valid star, a valid document. But we see that what we see, that those who were pure of mind and in Jerusalem, they would do the right thing, the pure thing. What does that mean? Perush Rashi explains, no hagim shlashonim kitsora. They would write in an abbreviated way, a shorter way. Lo yachol mean aid, ela ploni ben ploni. They didn't add the word aid, witness, after it. They just put the word Ploni, the son of Ploni. Shomer al devorim biyoter. They were so careful on using extra words. And they didn't use an extra letter, an extra word that wasn't necessary. That's how carefully they guarded their mouths. And they intentionally wrote everything that they wanted. They were called pure of knowledge. Why should Dovrim Lotsomin Hadas? Because from their own intellect, they would understand that you don't need to write the word aid, witness, after their names. And since they were careful on not adding any extra words, therefore they were called in this higher level. It's just two letters. They were careful about that. And this is what we say about Shabbos. You shall honor the words of your goings. Don't speak anything that you shouldn't be talking about. Chazal, the sages interpret this. That your speech on Shabbos should not be like your speech in the rest of the week. He asked, wait a minute, what are we talking about here? If we're talking about just wasted words, harigami mosachol he masurim, v'shuvadi bar tabam. Even in the weekday, you're not allowed to say these wasted words because it says you shall speak of them. A little bit more b'teilim, not b'teilim. So what's he talking about? Divrei Torah b'tefillah. He's talking about speaking Torah and prayer. Torah b'tefillah b'Shabbos Kodesh. Your study of Torah and your prayer on Shabbos. Lo yeh should not be like the rest of the week. Ela madrega yoter gavo should be on a higher level. Papidas yesh lomer shenichla b'zeh. And include in this, shafilu b'dvorim shetzorech l'daber b'hem b'Shabbos yikatzer kachol efshar. Again, don't use more words than you need to. Kamo she'omar moran sabakodesh b'shlonim z'chazolenu sherega achad mishabbos. He said 1 minute of Shabbos chashuv kakama v'kama shos b'mosachol is equivalent to many hours of the weekday. There's one hour of studying Torah on Shabbos, according to some, is equivalent to 100 hours during the week. Others say it's equivalent to 1,000 hours. It multiplies. So therefore, the words are important. Don't use any extra words. That's what it means. Your words on Shabbos should be different. Shabbos Kodesh the key hadas. You should have a pure mind, pure intellect. Should be Yerushalayim. Should be just like the story in Jerusalem where they shortened the witness statements, just signing their names and not writing the word aid, witness, after it. And what we learn from this is the importance of the words. There's an interesting Gemara in Bava Metzia that involved a discussion between the son of Amemar and Rav Ashi. And they were talking about a particular business practice. And Amemar was very lenient in requiring and being able to bend over backwards to give those who weren't able to come up with the right money or come up with the right evidence, went over backwards in their behalf. So Rav Ashi said to his son, he said, yeah, that's fine. That's fine when your father's alive, but what happens after he's no longer here? And the next thing that happened is Amemar died. Why? It wasn't a curse, but the Gemara learns from that our words are potent, even in the words of a tzaddik especially, even though you didn't mean anything. Your words, it's not a question of al tiftach peh l'satan. Don't open your mouth for the Satan. It's more than that. Your words are like a command to God to do it, even though you don't intend it. And we have that, we see that also with Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu says, if you don't forgive them, wipe me out of your book. And in fact, there's one parsha where Moshe's name is not mentioned. Anyway, we live in a time where we go around saying things without thinking of the effect on somebody else, without thinking of how they can hurt somebody, without recognizing that we have to be careful in what we say. We're in a time now where Beit Hamikdash, the time between Shiva Asar B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. And it says in Eicha, it says, V'chol rodfeha hisigu bein hamitzorim, which is translated as, all that are chasing you will catch you in the narrow straits. But I saw a beautiful shot from the Koznitzer Magid, who said, Kol rodfeha, The word rodfeha ends with yud and a hey at the end. Yud and hey is one of God's names. It says, call rodevka, whoever is chasing after God, Beit Hamitzorim, during these days between Shavas Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, Isigo will come to contact with him, we'll find him. God is accessible to us. And one of the ways of accessing God's presence is to access this presence by showing that we are using our words properly. Thank you for listening. I'm going to turn off the recording, and then I'll take any comments anybody wants to make after that 1 minute.